to make a really quick movie to recording to show you how to do your assignment, what I expect. This is a really quick little fantasy landscape that I made. You can see how I made it if I turn off all the visibility back here, starting with a landscape and then adding some different parts of some buildings. It's actually pretty fun to do this. So here's my composite, and what we need to do is we need to give it a color, a color, oh God, I'm so tired, I can't. We need to give it a gradient mapping so that everything matches. You can see that everything's a different color, the store is different color, because these are all different pictures. So I'm going to open a picture that I want to grab the color from, and I'm going to open up a color that, a picture that's in that folder. It's this color right here, pinks and purples. It's pretty dramatic, but I'm going to grab the color out of this. And so the way I'm going to grab the color from here is I'm going to go to Image, I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Export, and I'm going to export for web. And then it's going to bring up a dialog box that I can choose what kind of file I want to export. And the kind of file I want to export here is going to be a JPEG. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the colors down to about 8 so that I have some to pick from. So instead of PNG, I'm going to go to GIF, and I'm going to make it 8 colors. And it really doesn't matter at all what this looks like. What you need here is you need a nice dark color for the shadows, you need a light color for the highlights, and then you need a medium color for the midtones. And so now that I have that, I'm just going to save it. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to save color table, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. And then I'm going to cancel out of here, and I don't really need this anymore, but I'm going to leave it open just in case. I'm going to come back to my castle, and I need 2 different panels here. I need my swatches panel first, and what I'm going to do with my swatches panel is I'm going to grab that color table and put it in here. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say import swatches. I'm going to find the color table that I just created. It's on my desktop somewhere, and I'm going to open it up. It's going to put every single color table in a different folder. So this is the one that I just made right here, and I'm going to leave this open. Then I'm going to need my gradient panel, and my gradient panel, I need to see both my gradient panel and my swatches panel at the same time. So I'm going to pull my gradient panel out a little bit, and I'm going to make a brand new gradient. So I'm going to go up here and go to New Gradient Preset, and this is where I'm going to choose my colors. I'm going to start with the darks, and don't click on top, only click on the bottom. I'm going to click on the bottom stopper, and I'm going to go ahead and choose my darkest color, which for this is going to be this dark purple. I'm going to choose my very lightest color over here, which is going to be this light aqua color. And then I'm going to go down in here, and I'm going to choose a middle color, and it's going to be this pink. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to call this Unicorn, and I'm going to save it. And here's my new gradient. I made a custom gradient folder, and I'm going to dump it into custom gradient folder just to keep everything nice and organized, and click on OK. I'm going to take my gradient panel, and I'm going to store it over here for the time being because I don't need it. And then what I'm going to do here with my artwork is I'm going to grab everything. You don't really have to do this, but I find it pretty useful. So I'm going to grab everything that I made here. I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to convert it to a smart object. And it's going to make everything a little bit less confusing. I'm going to have less layers, and I don't need this background layer, so I'm going to delete it. Then in order to give this an overall color grade, I guess if you want to call it, I'm going to go down here and choose Gradient Map. it's going to put a gradient map over the whole thing, and I'm going to go over here and choose the one I just made. You see, like down here are the gradients that I've made. I'm going to choose unicorn, and if I double click it, it'll close that. So that's kind of nice. And then of course this looks a little bit weird, so I'm going to play with the layer blending modes and see what layer blending mode I like. If you don't want to scroll down this way, one thing that you can do is you need to make sure you're in the mover tool, but if you hold shift down and you use the plus sign, it lets you scroll through the layer blending modes. Usually when you do this kind of color grading, I guess, the one that you use is either soft light, or you could use hard light or vivid light, depending on what you want. Soft light is probably, the more outrageous your color scheme is, the more you want to go with something like soft light that really looks a little bit, more believable if you want. And if you double up this, if I do Command J and I double up on this, it's going to actually make this a little stronger. I can also set these two to two different blending modes, where this one right here is set to soft light, but then this one on top could be set to a different blending mode, and then you just start to compound the effects that you're getting. Keep in mind that some of these blending modes are known as the fill opacity 8, and they really don't work unless you lower the fill, in which case you start to get really interesting effects. I don't think I'm going to do that for this one. I think I am going to hold shift and see if there's anything that looks interesting here. And I think I'm just going to go with the first one that I did. I think adding two of these together is a little bit much. But I want it a little bit more than that. This is kind of cool. It's a little much though, so I'm going to drop the opacity. Anyway, when you hit something that you like and you're happy with it, what I want to see is I want you to present the work with no color added. I want to see the image that you pulled the color from, and then finally I want to see your image with the color added. So you're going to be presenting 3 images, and you should present them as a multi-page PDF. Okay, thanks, bye.